Anthrax Scare, a Bittersweet Rush reunion, and Iron Maiden have even more surprises for their fans up their sleeve. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Anthrax and their journey. And in this week's installment of our weekly segment, has Anthrax finally released their new studio album, which, in case if you guys are new here, we've been doing for quite some time now. We actually do have some rather important updates. Anthrax finally did it! And no, they did not release their new studio album yet, but the New York thrash metal legends announced the name of their upcoming 12th studio album. And it did spike quite a controversy online. Cookie, lend me a cone. And so the first Anthrax album in 10 years will be titled Cursum Perficio, which is a Latin phrase meaning I accomplish my course or I finish the journey, which Charlie Benante apparently came out with after watching a documentary about Marilyn Monroe and seeing the plaque on her house with those same words on it, and which of course scared the hell out of many die-hard Anthrax fans around the world.
Oh, don't leave me!
Take me with you, don't
leave me!
Wait, me!
Yes, quite a lot of people online have been questioning whether this album will be Anthrax's final studio record, and especially in the light of recent announcements from their friends Megadeth's camp last year. Yet, as Charlie Benante explained, this doesn't necessarily mean that the next studio album will be the final one for Anthrax, as according to the guitarist Scott Ian, the title also reflects the band's journey in making this record, and the journey of the album itself. And as of right now, they themselves do not really know whether this studio album will be their last or not. But nevertheless, it looks like it's actually finally happening, as of right now we already even have a name for this 10th studio album from Anthrax, which, just a reminder, I personally have been waiting for at least 5 years now. And still, no matter what, I won't believe that it is actually out until I physically hold it in my hands. Here guys, super quick as always, just simply have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first one you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Blackie Lawless's revelations. Was frontman Blackie Lawless has finally shared some details about his long-awaited autobiography, including its title, which apparently is Tales from the Square Mile. And it actually doesn't look like yet another rock memoir. Lawless says that the book has taken over 5 years to write and required intense research, often spending hours just to get small details right, as the story expanded far beyond just his personal life into the broader history of music industry, which I actually think is pretty cool. And in addition to that, he also revealed that the hardest part to write was his childhood, describing it as deeply revealing and something he simply wasn't ready to confront earlier in life. So yeah, it actually doesn't sound like yet another sex, drugs and rock and roll kind of book, and more like a serious deep dive into what actually shaped one of the most controversial figures in rock music. And from my point of view, I actually have to point out that Blackie Lawless's personal story is actually one of the most interesting ones in the world of heavy metal, and he definitely has quite a lot to tell his fans. So if this book is actually going to be as personal and as open as, for example, Rob Halford's Confess was, I am more than sure that this is going to be quite a read. And here guys, as always, a huge shout out and a thank you to all my patrons and YouTube channel members, and also wanted to point out that many of you have been asking me about this No Fear of the Dark t-shirt that I have, which is obviously inspired by Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Black Sabbath, and you know, all of the other of our favorite metal bands. And yes, I still have a couple of those, and yes, I'm more than happy to ship them pretty much anywhere across the world. And so if you would like to order one to rock at your next metal concert, just know that you can do so via the link in the description to this video. Alice Cooper's new guitarist. Speaking of shock rock, Alice Cooper has finally revealed the name of a guitarist filling in for Nita Strauss, who, by the way, in case you guys missed it, announced earlier that she will be taking a break from touring to become a mother this summer.
Mama! 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 What?
And so, as announced, the new Alice Cooper guitarist will be the 22-year-old Anna Cara from Newcastle, England, who previously did work with Korzus frontman Mark Storrs and yet another Alice Cooper guitarist Tommy Henriksen. And according to Alice, Nita Strauss herself has chosen Anna to be her replacement.
So says the prophecy.
So says the prophecy!
Okay.
By the way, Anna Cara, who started playing guitar when she was 14 years old, started doing so precisely because she was a huge Alice Cooper fan. And so, of course, joining Alice Cooper on stage is a dream come true for her, like it would be for pretty much anybody in the world of rock and roll. And at least from the first impressions we were able to get this week, it looks like Anna will be nailing this job. Nevermore Reforged. Reunited progressive metal veterans Nevermore have finally played their first show with a brand new lineup, with the first concert of the updated Nevermore taking place on April 1st in Istanbul, Turkey. And according to all of the fans' feedback and all of the videos I personally saw online, I don't know about you, but at least to me, it looks like the guys simply killed it, with the new vocalist Berzan Onen doing an awesome job filling late World Dane's shoes, which actually is pretty much an impossible task. And coinciding with the first show of the second chapter in the career of Nevermore, they were also announced as a support act for Judas Priest in their Faith Keepers tour this September, including for the highly anticipated gig Judas Priest will be doing in London this year, and which, I don't know about you, but I personally really hope to witness for myself. But at the same time, not everything is as happy in the Nevermore camp, as the band's show at Prog Power USA Festival in September was apparently cancelled because of difficulties with obtaining a work permit for Onen. And although the band does promise that they will be returning to the US soil sometime soon, still, I can't even imagine how hard of a hit it might be for all the diehard Nevermore fans in the United States who are planning to attend that show. The King Diamond reunion actually worked. And following up on the King Diamond Classic lineup reunion with their brand new project titled Lex Legion, of which we spoke in our previous Metal Digest, they finally released their debut single. And it is extremely old school, in the best possible way. The biggest surprise for me personally here is Nils Rue's vocals, who is absolutely nailing it, bringing that classic high-pitched theatrical metal feel that fits this lineup just perfectly. And with actual members of King Diamond behind it, well, this project easily could have felt like a cheap nostalgia bait. But no, instead it actually sounds like a band that belongs in that era. And that is freaking awesome. And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 metal releases from this week, which, although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention. Brazilian metal legend Sepultura released the single Beyond the Dream, the second preview from their farewell EP The Cloud of Unknown, which arrives on April 24th. The band described the track as one of the most emblematic moments of their final chapter, and said it reflects a journey shaped by decades of albums, tours, and life on the road. American heavy metal veterans Corrosion of Conformity released the double album Good God, Bad Man via Nuclear Blast. The record grew out of a huge batch of songs that Pepper Keenan and Woody Weatherman wrote after the death of Reed Mullen and the departure of Mike Dean, which led them to split the material into 2 distinct halves. Keenan described the concept as 2 different universes, Good God leaning toward a heavier and more pissed off side, while Bad Man goes deeper into the rock-driven direction. Brazilian thrash metal band Nervosa released their 6th album Slave Machine via Napalm Records. This is the second full-length with Prica Amaral as vocalist, and the album once again produced by Martin Furia. And these 12 songs push the band's crushing style even further, with the title track combining speed with a surprising alternative bridge, while the album overall bridges old school power and modern intensity. Atlanta metal band Sevendust released the single Threshold from their upcoming album One. The track is presented as a driving, emotionally charged song built on the band's trademark blend of heavy grooves and melodic intensity, with Legion Witherspoon delivering lyrics aimed at people who push others to the breaking point. Brazilian thrash metal band Korzus released the single No Light Within, marking new material for one of the longest running acts in the Brazilian metal scene. The track continues the band's aggressive, riff-driven style, staying true to their thrash roots while incorporating a darker and more modern tone. A surprise from Rush. Legendary Canadian prog rockers Rush made quite a surprise for all their die-hard fans, giving the first concert in over 11 years and marking the first live appearance of their new keyboardist Lauren Gold and a new drummer Annika Niles. When Rush performed at the Juno Awards ceremony in Hamilton, Ontario, opening the show with a surprise performance of the song Find My Way, the first ever Rush song, the opener for their debut studio album released all the way back in 1974, so over 50 years ago. And by the way, the craziest thing is that Rush themselves actually did not perform this song live all the way since March 15th of 1985. So for over 40 years now. As bassist and vocalist Geddy Lee explained, they simply could not choose a song to make the comeback with. So Rush simply asked their manager, who said first song, first album. Or at least so does the story go. But the real reason why Rush actually chose this song was that Find My Way was literally the only song they knew how to play with this new lineup. But nevertheless, yes, Rush is back. And I gotta be honest with you, it was extremely strange to see anybody except for the legendary Neil Peart behind that kit. But at the same time, I have to point out that they sounded so tight, and you can actually see how happy they were being back on stage, giving the wonderful gift of music to all of their loyal fans. So, I don't know about you, but I am actually rather excited for the upcoming Rush reunion tour, featuring, as of right now, 82 shows in 16 countries in total. Although, yes, of course, nobody can ever replace Neil Peart behind the kit in Rush. Still, I actually am deeply convinced that Rush music should be performed live, and especially given the whole fact that they were actually paying tribute to Neil throughout the entire performance, and I'm more than sure that they will continue doing so on a 50-something tour. Led Zeppelin's Lost Demo. Led Zeppelin fans can now finally hear the band's seminal 1975 hit 10 Years Gone the way it was always intended to sound. As this week, legendary Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page has premiered previously unreleased demo version of 10 Years Gone, which apparently Page originally wanted to be an instrumental piece. And as he explained, after he made a demo record in his studio in Plumpton and showed it to the band, vocalist Robert Plant came up with the lyrics about the relationship that ended 10 years ago, after Plant's then-girlfriend made Robert choose between her and music. And I guess we all know what kind of choice he made. But nevertheless, in the end of the day, it was that version with the lyrics that the band voted to appear on the 1975 album Physical Graffiti. That became the band's 5th album to reach #1 positions in the US Billboard 200 and UK album charts. And only now, 50 years later, we can finally hear how Jimmy Page wanted this song to actually sound like. Metal Chat with Richie Faulkner.
Take the ball, touch it all.
As I'm more than sure pretty much every regular viewer of this channel knows, one of the most anticipated albums, at least for me, of this April is of course the second studio album by Elegant Weapons, the second band of Judas Priest guitarist Richie Faulkner. And since, well, you know me, I simply cannot miss an opportunity to talk about anything related to the world of Judas Priest, in this week's Metal Chat, let's welcome nobody else but Richie Faulkner.
Man, a couple of years ago, you scared us quite a lot. Recently, you revealed that your health issues, so they are still actually continued even after that episode. You just kind of kept it under the rug for your fans, which is, I mean, it's an honorable thing. But now, especially having the family, have you actually considered slowing down? Because it looks like you actually doubled down on your touring life with with two bands.
Well, I think if I stopped, it would have a detrimental effect. I think keeping going, I have like a regimen that I have to do throughout the week and when we're on tour and stuff to keep it maintained and keep it going. So if I stopped doing that, I think that would be. I don't think I could slow down. You know what I mean? You know when you don't work a muscle for a while, you kind of lose it. I think it will be a case of that. So I have to keep it at some kind of level. I think to stay at a level. So yeah, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. When we're off the road, I have to play. I have to do exercises. I have to do coordination stuff just to keep it at a level. So when we go out again, I can maintain. So at this point, I don't really think I can slow down. Unless if I did, I think it would be a real challenge starting everything up again and getting out on tour. So, but I'm kind of, I'll say young enough to be able to do it and stay on top of it and do the exercises and do the regimen and Priest is still out. We're still doing enough shows where we can be out enough. We take a physio. I don't know if he was there when you were there. We take a physio out with us on the road, so I do it 3 times a day. So, if they stopped touring and we weren't doing as much, I'd maybe have to do more with weapons, or something like that. To keep, or if I stopped, it maybe wouldn't be. I wouldn't be able to stop because it would shut down maybe. But I hope, luckily I haven't got there yet.
Our full and rather long interview with Richie about everything related to Elegant Weapons, the next studio album by Judas Priest and the Faith Keepers tour, including the songs they might play on it, is actually already available for all my patrons and all of the YouTube channel members. But for now, I just have to point out that I'm really impressed how much Elegant Weapons were able to develop their own and rather unique sound by just their second studio album. And with this second release, it actually does feel like a proper band rather than a side project already. Which, I don't know about you, but I am actually rather happy about. So make sure to watch our interview with Richie and check out Elegant Weapons if you still haven't done so. Horrors and fairy tales.
Досить зволікати, вогонь все ближче, сядьмо на лопату і лізь у пічку.
A quick update on a new blood from the Ukrainian metal scene. Kyiv-based horror metal band Shkerebertb have released their new second full-length album titled Чарівне місце, which roughly translates as a wonderful place. And honestly, just like their first one, this is literally one of the most entertaining records I've heard in a very long time. Full disclaimer, these guys are actually my friends, so I just want to quickly spread the word about them, but what they're doing is freaking awesome, as they're combining old Ukrainian traditional fairy tales with horror aesthetics and wrap it all in a package of heavy metal, and then present it in the most theatrical way possible, turning their concerts into grotesque parties. And I absolutely love it. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely check them out. And justice for Iron Maiden. Intriguing news from the Iron Maiden camp. Yes, in addition to the ones we've already discussed earlier this week. As in case if you guys missed it and didn't watch that video, first and foremost, yes, justice has finally been served for the one and only Blaze Bayley. As this week, Blaze Bayley was included to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2026 nomination list after initially being completely ignored by that institution. And all despite the whole fact that unlike the 2 Judas Priest albums with Tim Ripper Owens, both the X Factor and Virtual 11 as of this year are already eligible for the nomination. So not including Blaze in the list of nominees was a huge slap in the face for all of us diehard Iron Maiden fans. And especially someone like me, who actually truly loves the Blaze Bayley era of Iron Maiden. So first and foremost, yes, as of right now, Blaze Bayley is finally included into the list alongside all of the other Iron Maiden members, which, although of course all of us metalheads don't really care about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, still is the right thing to do. And just a couple of days after that announcement, Iron Maiden have finally proved that the Eddfest they are planning this year at the Nevermore site to celebrate the 50th anniversary of this band is finally turning into a real celebration of the 50th anniversary of this band. As Iron Maiden have finally announced that Blaze Bayley will be headlining the Maidenville stage on Friday of the festival, and with not just any regular program, but actually performing the best songs from both the X Factor and Virtual 11. Which in my opinion is simply incredible news.
I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby.
And with not just any program, but actually performing the best songs from both the X Factor and Virtual 11. Which in my opinion is simply incredible news, and this is a kind of thing that actually transforms Eddfest from a regular concert to a real celebration of everything Iron Maiden. But even that is also not it, as in addition to Blaze Bayley, Iron Maiden also announced that alongside Blaze Bayley, Maiden United and all the other incredible acts on Friday, Steve Harris's first ever band Gypsy's Kiss will also be taking the stage that night. Which kinda makes me think that there is a very, and I mean very hard chance that the boss himself might show up and perform a couple of songs with both of those acts on Friday.
So excited! So excited!
But even that is also not exactly it, as in addition to all that, Nicko McBrain's band Titanium Tart have announced that they are hitting the stage this year once again, announcing the first bunch of concerts in the United States for September, and spiking quite a speculation that Nicko McBrain might also be flying out and performing at Eddfest, at the very least alongside Titanium Tart, but also, who knows, maybe even joining the stage together with Iron Maiden for at least a couple of songs. And yeah, I know that I'm getting way too excited about things that weren't even announced yet, and that might never come true, but if they do, man, that is going to be a kick-ass day for all of the Iron Maiden fans. But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, spread the word about this channel, and of course subscribe to it. And of course join our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Discord, anywhere you can post content these days. Thank you guys so much, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!